Hi, everybody. I got Yuri and Tara here. It's Ro here, Big Obo Media. Yuri and Tara, how are you?
We're great, thank
So
you.
good. Thanks for seeing us today.
Yeah.
You know.
Thank you. It's been a great day. I've been like all the nerves that I just had just went out the window after all.
Oh, good. You shouldn't have nerves. You shouldn't have
You-
nerves.
Yuri, we've talked before. We did a press room for Mortal Kombat and a couple other things before.
Yes.
So it's this is not our first time meeting, but Tara, this is our first time meeting, and it is quite
Yes.
the pleasure to be able to get to talk to you both in the same space. Such a
Well, it's my
collective.
honor, thank you.
No problem. So for the two people in the universe that don't know who you guys are, do you guys mind in- introducing yourselves and what you do?
I'm Tara Platt, and I do a lot of voiceover work
Mhm.
alongside this guy over here.
Yeah, that's Yuri Lowenthal. We work a lot in games, anime, Western cartoons as well. From shows like Naruto, which
To Ben 10.
to Ben 10 to the Spider-Man
Yeah,
games,
and games like Persona or
Fire
World of
Emblem.
Warcraft.
Yeah, yeah.
Lots of stuff.
We do our best to keep busy.
Yeah, you talk about job security. I love to hear it.
That's right. Oh man, who knows
I
though? Like
wish
this
I wish there were
industry.
job security. Man, we can't get complacent. Every
No,
now and then we feel like we want to get lazy, but we know we can't.
no.
It is quite the honor, like I said, to be able to talk to you both.
Oh, thank
But
you for saying so.
so I'm gonna go ahead and start this off by getting
Sure.
to all the important stuff that we came to talk to, and then I'll front load the other half of this with
Okay.
with
Do
my
it, do
All right.
it.
first. All right, so I'm curious. We're talking about the course that the two of you have designed for voice acting. Everywhere I go, almost every con I go to, they always ask, how do I get into being a
Yeah.
voice actor? What do I do? And the number one question from another voice actor will be, should probably go to acting school. But it's that's usually what's
Yeah.
said. Now what is the purpose? Well, obviously I know what the purpose is, but what is making
Mhm.
your program a lot different from going the traditional path of how you got to where you guys are now?
Yeah, well, I mean, we wrote a book. Now it's been like 15, 16 years.
Mhm.
That's
Because
a
we would
very,
get that
we would
question.
get that
Yeah,
question
a
so much.
lot.
It was a very comprehensive book. And I tried to find a book that had the information that people kept asking me. So I was like, oh, I'll just direct them to information that they can gather. And I couldn't find what I was looking for. And I was like, Yuri, I think we just have to write it ourselves. So we did that. And then we did the updated one 10 years later. And we like did things that changed with technology and performance capture and things like that. And we added that into it.
Mhm.
But throughout that whole time, people had always asked us, like, will you teach a class? Can we
Yeah.
take a course with you? And we just never could figure out how to make that work in our schedules because our lives are very random and weird and we don't have a weekly set schedule. And so we were like, we're going to cancel on people if we set it at 2 p.m. or at 6 o'clock
Mhm.
on Tuesdays. Like, that's
Yeah.
not going to work.
Yeah.
And then at the same time that like those were the thoughts that we were having, we started noticing, and Yuri very, succinctly sort of pointed this out, that like the jobs that we sort of like honed our skills on and cut our teeth on, especially with the technology like AI and stuff like that,
Those are at risk these
those are at
days. Yeah.
risk. The AI and things like that are going to take the NPC characters and the little tiny jobs that we would have had that like helped us leverage and build our careers
And
and
build it like
learn.
yeah, learn and get experience
Yeah,
and
because
get
like,
more comfortable and learn the type of things that we put in our book.
yeah,
Yeah.
because doing the work is the best way to get better at the work.
Yeah.
And so this class, in a way, is kind of us trying to teach people all of that stuff that they may not get the real world experience to do. So
Right.
this would hopefully bridge that gap of like, okay, cool, this is what you want to pursue. It's kind of like a college 101 class of like
Mhm.
voiceover and what you need to do, how to get started, what it entails.
Sort of demystifying some of the things that, because you haven't had the experience, you wouldn't know who those people are in the studio when you
Right.
show up, or how to what the inside of a performance capture studio looks like, things like
Yeah,
that.
or what an ABC take is. Like I literally on my first
Yeah,
job when Seven
terminology.
said, "Give me an ABC," I said ABC. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I had never been in a, before
yeah,
doing that, and I didn't know that they just meant give me three takes in a row.
yeah. Three
Like
takes of the same line. Yeah.
you don't know things until you learn those things, but the opportunities to learn those things in a safe space like repertory style is kind of disappearing, and so that's why the course now, but also it's based on all of our years of experience and these best-selling books that we've written that people really have responded to very very greatly over the last 15 years. We're using those books and the ideas that we believe in that we teach in those books to help us guide and create the course, which is now completely self-led, and you can do it in your
Yeah.
pajamas at the comfort of your own schedule at 3 a.m. in your living room if you need to,
Yeah.
because life is crazy.
It's funny you mentioned that too. Like when I not to say that it's happening now, but kind of is like I don't want to say you guys are like in a real gatekeeping industry where like
Hmm.
it's like people like, oh, this is only enough for so much, like you said, for
Right.
you to pretty much create your competition. You're
Yeah.
helping
Yeah.
raise
Well,
your people that it's a finite amount of resources that you can pull from, and you guys are
well,
creating more to take from that.
Yeah.
yeah, but we try not to look at it that way. And I'll tell you what, we come from the theater and the on camera world originally, and when we found the voiceover community, we were always surprised by how supportive everybody was of everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally you'd be like, oh well, you're not going to want to help out your competition because that makes it harder for you to get the thing. And I've never felt that in the voiceover community.
Yeah.
Everybody's been really supportive, and we want that to be something that the community is known for, and that people recognize that about it, and we do that in part by continuing it as
Yeah.
much as we
And
can.
also, I mean, like Yuri often says, you can't be the lead in a game all the time. Like you
Yeah,
you can't just go from lead in the game to lead in the game to lead in the game. Like
Right.
that's not what the life looks like. A, because people get tired of hearing your voice all the time everywhere. They're gonna be
not
like,
that
ah,
guy
not that
again.
guy again.
Yeah,
B, because there are different characters that are the leads in the games. They're not all the same. And like
right.
we all have range, but like we all have a very specific range based on our physiognomy and what we're capable of doing. And so like there needs to be a huge swath of lots of color and variety of people
Right.
that are out there that can do the jobs so that we all get to play in the sandbox. Like
Mhm.
the trick is if there's only 5 people trying to play in the sandbox, that sandbox isn't
Yeah,
interesting.
it's a small
Right.
sandbox.
It's too small of a sandbox. So you do want there to be a very wide group of people that can be drawn upon for the work, because you want different sounds and you want different things, and like it's exciting for the audience to participate in stories with different characters. Like
Yeah.
we don't want every story to be the same because that's not true for telling every story that we need to tell.
And we're in
Right.
a golden age, of games where there's so many different types of opportunities. Once upon a time, games didn't have a lot of dialogue in them, and they had a very, sort of specific set of characters that would show up
Yeah.
over and over again. And now with the types of games and the types of developers and, indie developers out there, you're getting all sorts of games with all sorts of characters. And, with these massive games, you've got to fill out that world. And it seems like there's even more opportunity these days than when we first started,
Yeah.
provided the robots don't take them from us. But you
and
know,
and like
It's coming.
we're not at death's door, and we don't want to stop our careers, so obviously we hope to have still a very
yeah,
long career span ahead of us, but like we're
there's
not,
enough for everybody.
yeah, we're not teenagers anymore, and yes, you might sound like one and play certain things, but like
As long as I can.
like there is sort of an evolution to all arts and entertainment where you sort of move through various roles and types of things, and so like feeling fear towards hoarding like what limited resources or opportunities there are doesn't actually serve you because you're moving, and also doesn't serve the stories and the industry in the best way that it can.
Yeah.
Now I know that your course, like I said, I said, what is it, like over 17 different courses, 9 hour
Well,
plus
it's 17
video.
modules, so there's
Yeah.
multiple lessons in each module. So it's like 9.5 hours of video instruction from the two of us. So like it's a very comprehensive, like I keep calling it like a college 101 class. Like you're getting a lot of information for what you're doing, but it's self-led. So what you put into it is what you get out of it. You know, like
Yeah.
if you only do one lesson every month, like it's gonna take you a long time to progress. But
So you guys are basically making like a Duolingo for like voice acting.
I mean, it's not quite as interactive, but you can do it at your own pace.
Yeah. And we do
And
have
yeah,
homework. I mean, the
that's
lessons have
true.
homework. There's
That's
things
true.
that you are supposed to then go complete and do on your own. That like we give a lesson, we talk about it, we explain, and then we literally wrote a workbook that accompanies the class that like
Mm.
has original content with scripts and practice copy, and we give you a book version of our
The original book, or
not the original,
not the
the
original, but
updated,
the
the
updated.
extended
Yeah,
edition, so that people can listen to it if they're not familiar with it. There's an audition log that comes along with it. We have videos of other working actors, so you get some like
insight from other people,
insight and
stories. Yeah.
interviews. There's a lot of resources that sort of support the class, so that when we give you homework, you have a place to sort of start from, either the workbook or things like that. So you're not just like, I have to go figure this out without someone
Yeah.
helping me. Like it's
Maybe we need to come up with
like
a cool mascot like Duolingo. Maybe we need to
a
come up
cute
with
little owl,
yeah,
a cute little
but
owl.
it can't be an owl. That's
No,
too
and
close
can
to
it be an
Duolingo.
axolotl? Because I like
Maybe
axolotls
an
very
axolotl.
much.
I,
With
I've seen that
microphones all over
owl.
its little head. A little axolotl with little microphones.
I've seen that owl at New York Comic Con in San Diego now, and it's attacked me
Of
twice.
course. That's
And that makes
genius. I
sense.
mean, yeah. Yeah. What are you
I
gonna
don't know. I have an irrational fear of the Duolingo bird now.
do?
But
Only when he gets sad because you haven't done him recently and he's like,
yeah,
I
it
miss
gets real
you.
aggressive too. It gets
Yeah.
real
Oh
aggressive.
yeah.
Like,
It's
Yep.
it like it's like it's like gentle, and then suddenly it's like,
It gets
why do you
it gets
hate me? And
aggro.
you're like, whoa, I'm not, I just am busy.
So just
I
gotta hop
also
up
want
just for 1 second. I'll be right back. Hold
But
on.
you get me.
All right. So my next question about your course here is, do you not just the voice acting, but do you teach a level of professionalism, how to show up for interviews for jobs, how to present yourself, what to say, like the certain lingo, like you said,
Mhm.
the pick up on, what to do
Absolutely.
with like NDAs and stuff like that, because that's a big part of your industry, to keep your mouth closed, So
Exactly.
It
And
is.
see, I see you already learned. You already know the lesson. Like
yeah,
that's it. You know the deal. We didn't want it just to be just an acting class because we know that it's just as important to learn that stuff as it is the business of it, and those type of things. Like you said, how to show up. What
What
the
it's like in the booth, who's there working with you, like what does that look like, who
exactly
is this
how
people.
to promote yourself. What's the difference between an agent and a manager?
Yeah, because we
All
also
those kind of
feel
things.
like professionalism often stems from confidence, and confidence is created by understanding and knowledge, right? Like this whole idea, knowledge is power. Well, when you have that knowledge, then you're not as surprised or as uneasy with what's going on, because you're like, oh, I know, I expected this. It might not look exactly the same because this is a different booth than the booth that I was in last time, but like I understand where I am and I understand what's happening, so that I can find my own comfort level, so that I have my confidence in the work that I'm doing, so that I show up in my best
Mhm.
self. And so yes, absolutely. That is
Yeah.
definitely part of what we speak to.
We're making the assumption that you're talented, but there are a lot of talented people out here trying to do this thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
and there are other ways to set yourself apart.
Yeah.
And sometimes we forget about those because they seem so basic, like showing up on time and
Right.
being prepared and just being kind and cooperative, and because it is really a team sport.
But we also, I mean, we do start in a very sort of basic place, because we also want to talk to people about like finding your voice. Like some people,
Mhm.
like you talk about, like, well, we expect that the talent is there,
Yeah.
but there is this assumption that like we want to walk people through the whole phase of it. So like, let's discover what your voice is and what makes your voice unique. So let's dissect what that sounds like and what that looks like and how you can go about figuring that out for yourself, because we think that that's important. Because yes, we as actors want to be able to play everything and we want to have
Yeah.
all the opportunities, and that's great and
Yeah.
delightful, but you have to start somewhere, and starting in your own natural backyard is usually the strongest thing out of the
Mhm.
gate for you to play with before you start like expanding your range and doing crazier wackier things and playing your
Yeah.
sinuses or whatever that looks like. You want to start something in a place of, okay, this is comfortable, now I'm going to feel willing to stretch myself, now I'm willing to stretch myself. So we do speak a little to the talent and the work of
Mhm.
being an actor. Like we literally break it down, like this is how you look through a script, this is what you're looking for, this is how you make choices, these are things you can do physically to make choices, so that if the director says that was great, give me another take but make it different, you know what to do with that. Like,
Yeah.
because that's a lot of information, and if you don't, you're like, but I practiced it the other way. Like some people feel caught off guard, and so we want to walk people through not only the acting of it, which is vitally important,
Mhm.
but also the professionalism side of things and the marketing side of things, and how it is to work with an agent and how it is to find audition. Like we speak to sort of like all of the, that's why there's 17 modules because
Yeah.
we want to go through a variety of information to help people feel like they got a really good solid like ground foundation.
It's funny you say that now, because I'm thinking the world has changed, right? Like a
Mhm.
few years ago, there was a whole uproar about, certain actors playing certain characters, and
Yeah.
kind of being locked into certain ethnicities, playing a
Yeah.
role, because like you said, it's a job. How have you guys kind of, I don't think it is a problem for you, any of you, but like, how have you kind of like talked to your students about that, like feeling like you're pigeonholed into a role or something like that, or have to only play 10-year-old boys for the remainder of your life, something like
Right, right. I mean, I think there is still, plenty of stuff to break out into, with all the different characters and the way they approach different characters. I don't think people should worry too much about being pigeonholed or stereotyped in the beginning. Um, because sometimes, like, to get something going, you want to be consistent in one thing. Like, we should all be so lucky as to get stereotyped in the beginning, so
So
enough people
people
know
think of
us
you.
so that they
that.
think of you. And then you can get in and start showing them really what you can do,
Yeah.
because you got to cut through somehow.
Yeah.
But I think nowadays, we've gotten to a place, luckily, in casting where they're a little more open-minded about that.
Yeah.
I
And
think it's, yeah.
representation does matter. Like it's nice
Yeah.
for people to be seeing themselves represented in the characters that they're watching.
Hmm.
And so you do get limited in a way. Like we used to say, like, oh, what's great about voiceovers, you can play anything. Well, that's not exactly true. Like, yes, you can play a lot of variety of things, but like it is great when people are representative of the thing that they're playing, because it feels real when you're watching that content.
Right.
So you can still play anything within your, and I don't want to say like stay in your lane, because that sounds like
Yeah.
not nice, but this idea of like, I am not going to play a black character because I am not black, and that's okay. And that's
Yeah.
perfect, because then an amazing actress who is going to step up and take that role, and that's perfect, because then I can play me doing whatever the character is that I'm doing, and she can do that, and then we both get
Right.
represented, and that's great. But we can still play a great amount of things within our area
I think,
that we
yeah,
can.
I think it's less about skill and more about opportunity, in the sense that once upon a time, because this was years ago now, but because I had lived in Japan and spoke Japanese, early on in my voiceover career, I would play characters. People got to know me as that guy who speaks Japanese, and so when you've got a Japanese character, get Yuri. He lived in Japan and speaks Japanese. Um, it's not that I have now forgot how to do that. It's just that I think it's more important to provide opportunities to people who've been denied them their whole career. I
Right.
think, stepping aside to be like, I don't want to, I don't feel right auditioning for Japanese characters these days, is more about going, yeah, you should get some, because there are some amazing actors out there who are Japanese who have been denied the opportunity, even though, they have those skills, and they have that the cultural background and
But you
everything.
best bet that if there is a white character that speaks Japanese,
Right,
he's going to audition for that.
right, right. Exactly.
I,
Those guys. I'm sure those guys pop up every now and then. That token
I,
white
I,
guy in Japan.
Right,
That new
right.
I'm
Brendan
sure.
Fraser movie's
I'm
coming
sure.
Oh
up.
my
It's
God,
so good.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure Peter Parker speaks Japanese in some in some capacity.
Exactly. Right, exactly.
In one of the multiverses.
I keep trying to get them to work something in where
Oh.
Peter has to speak Japanese, but yeah.
As smart as he
Sorry.
is, I'm sure he knows another couple dozen languages. You know what I mean? So,
Right,
Exactly.
right. It's not fair.
Not just a
Brilliant,
scientist.
brilliant science mind.
I'm glad you know, with both of your extensive, you know, filmographies, your voice acting work, you know, the level of notoriety that you both have. Um, is that something that you teach your students to deal with? Like when you get to this point, this is how you should handle it. You know, save your money. You know, do the you know
Right.
stuff like that. Like,
I
do you
mean,
guys
you're
teach
right.
like how to handle it?
We should probably have a little life 101 little module
Yeah,
to the side of it. And maybe, and the cool thing about the class being online in the way it is we can add on to it at any time that we want. So if we start to notice that we're getting a lot of questions to a particular topic, we can just go record another lesson and
Right.
stick it in there, which is something that we're very excited about being able to do because
Mm.
we want real world feedback from the people taking the class. I mean, we had beta testers from all walks of people who didn't know anything about voiceover to people who were working in the beginning phases to people who were regular like professional, like we had a variety of people test it for us, so we're feeling confident about what we started. But I love the idea of in the future being able to add on to it, and that could be something really useful because I'm always a big proponent of like, look, we're not born with skill sets, like we're born
yeah,
these amazing little sponges that can pick up on information, but just like coping mechanisms, we as humans don't know what we're doing until we're given information. Sometimes we learn things that don't work out so well for us until we
yeah.
get a chance to learn a better coping skill. So like we probably would be great to speak a little bit more to like life 101 and like
Mm.
things you can do to like keep you afloat,
Grounded.
grounding. But like we do talk to like just be a good human. Like these are things you can
Yeah.
do that's going to help you. Like be a good human, show up respectfully, show up prepared. If you have questions, ask questions. Don't be afraid to engage with the team of
Mm.
people you're working with, whether it's an audition or you're on set. Like you want to feel like you're bringing your best work to the table, and part of that is interactivity and connection and communication. And so we do speak to that, but you're right, I should probably have, because I
Well,
love,
but
for me, I love money. I've gotten several friends out of debt. Like I love being able to figure out like how do you do life the best way you can do life, and
yeah,
we don't all
how do
have
you
the same
Right.
circumstances.
yeah, how do you work the money that you've got
How do you,
into the best way
but
possible?
yeah, so maybe we'd have a
But
little additional thing because
but
like that's a great idea, but we
yeah,
didn't
but
really, that's not.
to your point earlier about dealing with notoriety and fame when that comes, we certainly don't want. I mean, the last thing we want to do is to have people get into this
For fame.
for the fame or the notoriety because
Right.
look, you gotta one of the things we talk about over and over again is early on if this is something you want to do, fall in love with it, and if you don't fall in love with it, there's probably something better out there for you to be doing because so much of the time, you're not going to get paid to do this,
Or you're
and
getting rejected. Like you
or
do your
yeah, you're getting
auditions and you
rejected.
only book 3%, and that's actually a good ratio.
Yeah,
Like,
you've gotta love doing it because most of the time you're not going to get paid for it.
yeah.
So you gotta fall in love, with the game.
But we also speak to like how important it is to get your imagination going. And part of that is being able to make really interesting acting choices and becoming a more interesting actor.
Mhm.
But part of that is like becoming a more interesting human being because people
Yeah.
that have more rich lives have a richer tapestry to draw from when they're making their acting choices.
Yeah.
And it isn't that you have to be a world traveler or that you have to eat foods, all sorts of variety of things. It's about whatever lights you up. So, like, go do the things in your life that make you excited. Is it hanging out with your friends? Is it learning a new crafting skill? Is it like maybe Duolingo and find another link? Like
Right.
what lights you up so that you become some bright thing coming into whatever it is you're working on.
And you never know how those experiences and those skills that you pick up along the way will serve
Mhm. Well,
this.
like you didn't know that your Japanese would have served you
Right.
in
I
your work because that was like you were working for the government. Like that
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
a
I learned Japanese and worked in Japan before I knew before I tried to become an actor,
yeah.
and I never would have thought, oh well, that that skill, some of those experiences would help. Like for example, understand the original Japanese voice track and when we're dubbing anime and things like that. But there you go.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
live an interesting life and let
Yeah.
it fill out this part of your
Yeah.
career.
You guys are what 23 years of marriage now? 20.
It'll be 24
Good.
December 31st. So we're gonna celebrate our 24th in like
Yeah.
a month and a half.
You did your research, Terrell.
I
Nice.
gotta do a little bit of homework.
Yeah. Yeah, 24. It'll be
I
24
know.
at the end of the year.
Yeah, we're almost a quarter of a century. Well done, us.
And then we could.
And we're not a day over 12. No, I'm joking.
You would never know. Look, I'm going into what year 4 now, being married now. So when I hear that and your
Nice.
story, like how you guys met and everything, is crazy. Like
Aw.
I'm feeling the love, the energy that you have, the way that you boost each other. You keep each other accountable. You make sure everybody, you check in. Like from what I can tell from you guys, like how you guys are making it work. Keep doing what you're doing. Congratulations on the Tom. It's you've been doing
Thank
a
you.
Thank
crazy
you.
good job.
You
Yeah.
guys must be doing something right too,
Yeah,
because
4
4 years
years.
is nothing to slouch at.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, not in
impressive.
You
this day and
slouch at
age. I
something.
know.
Yeah.
Also want to lead into like I said before, with you guys having such extensive libraries. I do have a question with you playing voices for licensed characters. Does that prohibit you from doing other work that's not a part of just I guess just anything in general, just like if you were doing a commercial or something like
Mhm.
that, like because
Yeah.
you're the voice of Spider-Man, and like do you have to now tweak your voice to not sound like Spider-Man and something else that you're doing?
No, I don't think so. I think because each project, whether it is like a commercial or a game or a show, um, each has its own, flavor, its own style, its own voice. They're dealing with different themes and they have different writers, and I found that that is enough to differentiate, even if I'm technically, even if
Even
I
if it
sound like
sounds
Peter
like Peter Parker
Parker
all the time.
in my real life, and I just use my voice for
I'd like
Yeah.
to believe that Peter Parker sounds like Yuri Lowenthal is how I view
Oh,
it.
that's very nice.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
But
Yeah,
yeah, no, I
but I
mean,
don't.
like,
Yeah.
there's not necessarily like an exclusivity quality
Okay.
to that. Although occasionally, like, I think there was a time when you were doing some Spider-Man stuff, and they had said, "We
Well,
don't want you to do some of these other Spider-Man. We want you just to be
well,
like,
what I do like to do is, the Insomniac Spider-Man is the one that I'm really, known for. And when I do play Spider-Man in a different thing, I do like to make it a different Spider-Man,
yeah,
because it's Spider-Man, but it's not the Spider-Man from that world. Like the Spider-Man
Right.
in Marvel Rivals
is more snarky."
is different.
Yeah.
Is in a different world than the
Transparent.
Spider-Man from Insomniac.
The
So
amazing Spider-Man.
don't mess with the
Don't
Every time
amazing
I
mess
hear
with
that, I
Spider-Man.
me.
get
Sorry, I hear
PTSD.
it's
I
traumatizing.
know.
I hear Spider-Man is a
But see,
menace.
that's the thing
just
is like you
just
wouldn't
hitting
think
the
of the
healers,
Insomniac
man.
one. Yeah, like the Insomniac
Oh,
Spider-Man, you'd be like, yeah, I want more honey with that, or whatever the line is.
That's right.
oh.
I'm fresh out of
Fresh out of
honey.
honey.
Here, have some honey,
Fresh out of honey.
right?
Yep, exactly. But
Oh.
the rivals Spider-Man wouldn't say something like that.
No.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
gonna get sticky.
Oh,
Oh
don't say
God.
that. Don't ever say that
I know.
again. You're fired.
He says it all the time.
I
He
know.
says it all the time.
As somebody that's put in over 500 hours in the Marvel Rivals, you just don't know how triggering that is.
You've heard it way too much now.
Like you see Spider-Man coming, I'm turning the game off. I don't want to play this
Uh,
anymore.
Just rage quit.
But no, that's cool. I don't know why I thought in my head that
Mm,
you guys were in some type of like lock as far as, hey, don't touch another project for like 6 months, or you're not able to do something like that, or we like you were saying earlier, you don't
mhm.
want to being the main character of the same, people hear you too much so they don't miss you to a certain
yeah.
extent. So
I
Right.
mean, I guess if you were a
yeah.
character like
Yeah.
I don't know, if you were like a Porky Pig or something, they probably wouldn't
Yeah.
want you to recreate that same voice for a commercial of Charmin
Yeah.
toilet paper. You know what I mean? Like there would be certain things that would come into play,
Mhm.
but I think because a lot of our characters do sound in a similar vocal range for us. I mean, we play with it as much we can, but like they're not going to say like don't talk. Like that's
Yeah.
just sort of you still get to play other things.
Yeah.
So it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'll wrap it with this question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Um, as far as the classes go, and
Yeah.
the wanting to create new prominent voice actors and create this opportunity, when you, like I said, there's so much that goes into this, from the physical, the mental, actually putting in the work, and I was talking about notoriety earlier.
Mhm.
Do you guys like ever like get over I that do you have like a fear of being known? I guess like when you're at conventions, it's like, oh yeah, it's Tara. Like
Yeah.
or do you like do you kind of teach people like how to deal with like that level of anxiety? To deal with certain stuff like that.
I think everybody's gonna feel, different levels of anxiety for that sort of thing. Some people, might feel more private about it, and some people, more social about it. I'm
Yeah.
generally, in our shape, I'm the more
He's the
social
social
guy.
person. I'm
Like
like,
Yeah.
leave me to my Sudoku in
she's
the
the more
corner.
right. But I think everybody will, deal with it differently. But like I said, don't worry about getting known. Just worry about having fun.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
beginning, especially.
Look, I mean, I said that was my last, but I actually I have a question
Go,
for
Go
both.
ahead.
go.
I have a question for both of you. So, what was the turn, like the turn left, or this wouldn't have happened situation for each of you? Like Tara, like what was the corner like? Had I not gone this path, I would have never gotten to where I am right now.
Ooh, that's a really tricky question because I
I
started
think.
acting when I was 9.
Oh yeah,
So like that was my turning point where I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. Like that was the thing that sort of like lit up in my brain. And I was like, oh, I can do this with emotions and step into characters and people like
yeah,
that. Like that sort of was the thing for me. But I often think back because your life feels like such a random assortment of like you said, choices and random
mhm,
happenstance things that like we happened to both Yuri and I happened to both audition for an NYU grad film. Neither of us went to NYU, but we
We were
both
living in
auditioned.
New
We
York.
were
Yeah,
living in New York and we both auditioned for it. And it was for playing like really sort of like different characters than who we are. Like I was a DJ
yeah. We were
and
both
oh yeah,
DJs.
that's true. We were both
Yeah,
DJs.
yeah,
But like it just randomly happened that we auditioned and we booked it and we met each other. And like I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad that like that happened. But like
yeah.
it's just such a random assortment of things that lead you to your life that you kind of have to look back on it at the end of your life and sort of have
yeah,
a sweet like bittersweet melancholy for like
Mhm.
how amazingly things just sort of perfectly work out.
And that's why one of the things we always say is, if you're getting into something like this and you're starting out, say yes to as many things as you can. That obviously you're not, breaking your own morals to say yes to, but
yeah,
Right.
like say yes to, even if they don't seem important, even if they don't seem like they're going to make you any money, even if, because the more experiences you have, the more opportunities you give yourself
Yeah.
to find
That's
those
going back
things
to
and
cutting your teeth, right?
make that
You're
turn.
learning through a variety of things and it goes back to that rich tapestry once
Yeah.
more.
But if I hadn't, I mean, as a kid, I always loved storytelling and I loved watching movies and I loved writing. Um, and for the longest time, I was like, oh, I should try out for a play or something like that. But I never, like I didn't, and I didn't, and I was too busy playing Dungeons and Dragons, or I was, doing sports, or reading comics, or whatever. And then, I think if I hadn't tried acting in my last year of high school, I might not have given myself the shot. Like
Which
once
is
I had
so
gotten to
sad because then
college.
we wouldn't have auditioned for that film and we wouldn't have met each other and we
Exactly.
wouldn't be in Los Angeles because
mm,
we're in LA doing voiceover because I drove out cross country
Hmm.
by myself and he's like, you can't drive across country by yourself. I'll drive with you. And we got married in Vegas on the drive. And then we
oh
came to Los
wow,
Angeles. We're like, how do we make money with our skill set? And so we were looking for ways to make money as an actor and we took a
While
class
we
in
were
voiceover.
auditioning for like TV and film and stuff like that. So
Like
look,
random
and
happenstance.
and look, here we are. Here are the three of us right here in this stream
that
yard.
is that is awesome. Like it's scary and it's so beautiful to like think about at the same time. Like the difference between you leaving 5 minutes early is you
Yep.
avoiding some level of traffic, or
Mhm.
you go somewhere and you just happen to meet somebody that you weren't expecting to see today.
Yep.
Within that time, and I'm like, oh man, like so to hear that is so amazing. Like you said, if you're not done acting in high school, if you would have fell out of love
Yeah.
with your with this at 9 years old, that's a
Yeah.
long time to be dedicated to
Yeah.
something. Like
Yeah.
kids talk about, hey, I want to be this, but
Mhm.
nobody really talks about, okay, is the money sustainable? Nobody gets to that part.
Right.
Like you get
Yeah.
to the
Right.
dream because it's fun, and then you
Yeah.
worry about if this is, economically,
Yeah.
Exactly.
feasible
Because if
later.
it's
Exactly.
fun, you'll keep doing it.
Hmm.
Right.
But if it's just about if it's just about the money, there's so many opportunities for you to
Other
give up.
ways, yeah.
Yeah.
Other ways that you could potentially make money that
Yep.
like yeah.
You,
Yeah.
So yeah, you got look. You guys just don't know how amazing you just made this afternoon for me.
Oh,
I
thank you.
You're so sweet. Thank
I,
you.
I really appreciate getting to talk to you both. Yuri, you again, Tara, for the first time.
My pleasure.
I can feel the energy and the love like through the stream, y'all, and like
Awesome.
when I talk to people, I'm like, man, okay, but this is like I I could you the passion you have for wanting to educate, like to get to the point where you're like, oh, okay, I think we've had enough. Like, let's teach somebody else this craft. You
Well, I
know
don't know
what
if
I
we've
mean?
had
I mean,
enough.
we still want to play in that sandbox. Do you remember I was talking about we still want to be in the sandbox, but we want other
This
people to do
isn't.
too.
This isn't retirement. This is us keep saying. This is us continuing to say yes to things.
So with you guys technically being educators, are we allowed to call you Professor Yuri and Tara?
Oh, well, I will say, you know what's really flattering? They use our book in colleges for college voiceover classes now, which is
In
crazy to
in
me.
some programs,
So there
yeah.
are classes that are learning our
Nobody's
books. We'll let
nobody's
you
ever
call us
called us. Yeah,
professor.
yeah, that's right. You can always call us professor if you want to from now
Yeah.
on,
I definitely will.
or maybe you
Thank
just
you
call me
so
Teach. What's up,
Teach, yo,
Teach?
teach.
thank you so much to the both of you. You made this
Our
just an
pleasure.
amazing day for me.
Right on.
I'm very interested to see where you go next with this. I know you both have so unlimited potential that I obviously, with everything that you guys done, but everybody can still grow. There's always room for improvement.
True.
100%.
Everybody's still coachable, as
Yep.
I've been told.
You
So,
you stop
um,
living when you stop learning.
yeah,
Okay, that's good.
but
Yeah.
thank you so much. Thank you for taking time to do this interview with me.
Of course.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
you.
being patient
Yeah, and sorry
with
about
all
the
the
tech
stuff.
snafus.
All
Yeah,
good. It's all good. Thank you so much.
right on.
See you guys.
All right, you got it. Bye bye.
Bye.